Hey guys, this is Luke again, and welcome back to another Ninjago video on the channel today. It was only about time before this video was going to come up. Everyone's doing it, everyone has it, I might as well create my own. But here we go, I'm going to rank the seasons, in my opinion, from worst to best. But I want to start immediately so I don't waste your time, so here we go. At the very bottom of the list we have Skybound, Season 6. Boy, this season was terrible. We had a 3-episode filler arc, and yet we're in that sweet spot of 10 episodes. No, we don't need that. Then, the plot itself wasn't even that interesting to begin with. It felt more like a ripoff of Season 2 episode Pirates vs. Ninja. That's really what it felt like to me. Just a better, revamped version of it. Then, when the plot actually goes somewhere, it's filled with Jaya, 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 Jaya. An unnecessary overload of Jaya because the fans wanted it to be a major plot point. That really pissed me off. But the cherry on top of Skybound is the end. The ending really pisses me off because it makes the entire season, in my opinion, kind of pointless. All it really did was strengthen a relationship of Jay and Nia. Really, that's it. That's all it really did. What a waste of a season that had so much freaking potential. Second to the bottom, we have Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu, Season 11, the newest season. Why is it near the bottom? Why is it above Skybound? Well, at least Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu didn't piss me off, okay? But it had an unnecessary overload of filler. In my opinion, 8 episodes out of 30 were filler. Well, some people may say it's 10 out of 30, but that only proves my point further. Up to a third of the season is filler. That's not right. And some of these fillers aren't even necessary, like Snake-Catastrophe or the absolute worst. Those don't need to happen. Or the entire existence of the whole Beetle thing. That didn't need to happen either, in my opinion. The only filler that really needed to happen was The News Never Sleeps, with Nelson and Antonia. That's it. That was the only worthy filler on the list. And the scheduling was so bad, we had to start in Ukraine for the first 8 episodes. Then we had to go to the United States for the next 1, 2, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. For the next 7 episodes. And then, for the next 9 or so, I think it's 9. Let me count. Yeah, for the next 9 episodes, we had to watch them in Malaysia. And for the last 5 or so episodes? For the last 6 episodes, we had to watch them in Australia. We had to sit through 4 different countries just to even watch the episodes. Yeah, sure, it hasn't fully aired in some countries like the United States and only aired like the Fire chapter in the United States. But the point remains, the scheduling for it is not that good, and the plot itself, and the Fire chapter is kind of iffy. And the Ice chapter is good and all, but the Fire chapter made Jay look like the Fire chapter Jay made Patrick Star look like Albert Einstein. Think about it. But at least most of the characters were good. Like Nia, she's just a bitch this season as well. And her whole little ice arc made no sense, and it was pointless. It made me worried over nothing. So, fuck you, Nia. But Season 11, not a good season. Okay, now third from the bottom, we have Day of the Departed. And speaking of which, Day of the Departed was actually very recent. It only happened at the time of this upload. At the time of this upload, it was a couple of days ago. But my biggest problem with Day of the Departed is the time constraint. The story is fine. It's just that the time constraint is what kills it. You can't do all of what Day of the Departed was trying to do in 44 minutes. It's impossible. If it was actually a full-length season, it actually was supposed to be, and then some scheduling mix-ups happened, and prevented it from being a full-on season. If it was actually a full-on season, it would be probably pretty high up on my list, because I love the story put into it. It's just that, if you really wanted me to like it, despite it being so short, make it all about Cole, instead of making us think it's all about Cole, when in actuality, it's all about the others. That's my other big issue. It didn't really focus on Cole all that much. At least we got Cole back into a human, even though a lot of people don't really like that, because it took away what made him special, but I digress. Okay, now we're on the transition from bad seasons to okay seasons. These seasons I thought were, I don't hate them, but I don't necessarily like them either. So we have 2 seasons that fit in this tier. Okay, the first one in this tier, and don't hate me for putting this season in this tier, but next is Tournament of Elements. Yes, Tournament of Elements is just an average season to me. It's not good as people say it is. The second half of the season is what kills it. The second half of the season is so fucking predictable. Like, if Garmadon never mentioned his past, I would have been shocked at the ending. I mean, at the Serpentine War. But because he mentioned the first one, I knew a second one was going to happen. It was just logic. I mean, the flashback is all good and all, but if it ruins a season for me, or at least ruins half of a season for me, that's not a good idea. Plus, I don't really like Chen. He's an annoying-ass motherfucker. And Skylar is one of the most boring characters I've ever seen. One of the worst voice acting characters I've ever seen. Bringing in a bunch of new characters does not always mean good. Like, there could be a couple of ones that were just throwaway. And that's where some of them were to me. Throwaway, well, others are just more important. It really felt randomized, in my opinion. I really wish this season could have been better. I really wish it was better. Okay, the only other season in this tier, I have 2 seasons, as I said before, is Sons of Garmadon. Again, this season's not the best thing ever, okay? Stop saying it is. It isn't. It really isn't. I'm sorry, it just isn't. I don't like Harumi as a character. She's alright as a villain, but I don't like her as a character. She feels like a bitch who just whines in her own sorrow. And in my opinion, she's barking up the wrong tree. Meaning she really shouldn't be going after Lloyd. Instead, in my opinion, she should be going after Pythor. Because, listen to me, Lloyd did not influence Pythor. Basically, yes, Lloyd released Pythor, but Lloyd did not influence Pythor's decision to release the Great Devourer. It was Pythor's own choice that made him do that. So if anyone has to blame for that, it's Pythor, not Lloyd. Okay? That's what I think. But you can try and argue with me in the comments below, or at least try and debate me in the comments below. But, yeah, Sons of Garmadon is okay, I guess. The Dark Nature is pretty cool, but in my opinion, they jumped the gun on Garmadon's return. They should have waited, they should have used a cliffhanger ending, in which Garmadon raises his hand out of the dead, and that's it for the season. That's how Sons of Garmadon, in my opinion, should have ended. I might as well just do a parody of how it should have ended. But yeah. My other problem, and this is kind of minor, is that in my opinion, they overused the cliffhangers. Like, it's okay to use a few cliffhangers, but not for almost every single episode, okay? But I did like the new voice actor change for Lloyd. It really suits him well, and it really showed his maturity as a character. Now we're into the territory from okay to good. These scenes I actually like. These ones are, like, pretty good. They were pretty good, and 2 seasons fit this one. And they are separated by 1% if you look on my Instagram on how I actually rated them. But here we go. The first one that I put here for good tier is the pilot season. Yes, I have this one on DVD. But I'm gonna be honest here. I really like the pilots, despite it being 2 episodes. It really had a pretty good story built into it. I wish it was longer. I wish it could have been 4 episodes, like 4 22 minutes, not 4 11 minutes, because that's just not good for me. But I still like the story nonetheless. It's our first ever piece of Ninjago ever, and it's still, and it times still holds up for it to this day, nearly 9 years later. Wow. Man, the memories. Now we go into the other season, into this good tier, and that is Legacy of the Green Ninja, or the Final Battle, or Rise of the Green Ninja, or whatever the hell you want to call this season. Season 2. The only problem here with this season is that there's filler. Again, like but unlike season 11, only 1 episode, in my opinion, didn't need to happen, and that was Ninja Ball Run. I feel like, well, I wouldn't say it wouldn't need to happen, I just say it needs some major rewriting, basically. Because I feel like the ninja could have gotten the bounty some other way, in my opinion. But at least the filler episodes were very fun. They were very fun to watch, despite them not carry the plot all that much. But they were still good episodes, nonetheless. And holy shit, that final battle is so good. And we had other good scenes, like Zane reunited with his father, the Islands of Darkness scene, Cole moonwalking because he idolizes Michael Jackson. So, yeah. Season 2 will always be good for me. Now we're going in from good to great. These 3 seasons are great. I really like them. I like them a lot. But they still have problems nonetheless. And next up on the list is Hunted. Yes, you're surprised I did not put Hunted at number 1. That's an overrated season, in my opinion, Hunted. What about it makes it so good? Because of animation. You can't convince me with animation, okay? But basically, my problem is the stories. How it does the story. It's very bad, in my opinion. You're trying to tell 2 stories at the same time. That's not going to work. Especially for people like me with mental disorders. It really hurts their brains. It really makes them really confused. And in my opinion, the first Realm story wasn't even that good to begin with, because I don't even remember what the hell even happened in it. But the Resistance storyline was very good. And in my opinion, this should have been the only storyline, because the first Realm storyline, in my opinion, was unnecessary. It only was there because season finale said so, which is stupid. But at least the action was very good. We saw 4 freaking people die in this season. One of them being Mistake, rest in peace, Mistake. But we did see some good scenes, and the soundtrack is very, very good. Almost godlike in a way. But then again, when hasn't Ninjago's soundtrack been good? Okay, next we'll move on to Hands of Time. Surprised I put Hands of Time, yes, Hands of Time over Hunted. Yes, I like Hands of Time more than Hunted, okay? Because it's not as confusing. It's a simple story that I can understand. And I like Acronix and Crux as villains. I really do. Even if their dialogue is a bit... That's a main problem for this season, is that the dialogue is pretty bad. Which I could definitely see, because some of the lines in there were just like, ouch. Those were hard to hear. But still, dialogue is very minor for me. It's a very minor factor. But I did like the overall story, and I really liked how the Time Blades as a whole, they look extremely cool. And I did like the whole Where Is Wu, and it was a nice little send-off to Jillian Michaels playing Lloyd. So, yeah. Hands of Time over Hunted. You can suck it if you want to. Next up, we have Possession. This is the last season in the Great tier. Possession. Wow, what a great season. I really like this season a lot. It's scary as hell. Morrow's such a great villain. And Nia's development from Samurai X to the Water Ninja was so freaking good. I wish the development could have stayed throughout afterwards instead of being basically undone. But I really like this season. Ghost and a Ninjago season, you wouldn't think of that. You'd think of something that's more like Hidden Side now. But Ninjago did that first. And I know Ninjago's not the only one that did Ghosts. But the point remains, this season was freaky, funny, kind of had a few iffy points with Cloud Kingdom stupidity and shit. But it was overall a good season with a very good story built into it. Now we're into the last tier, which is called the God tier, which is basically God. Basically, these seasons are so freaking good, I could watch them a million times and I'd still love it. And you might be shocked on what my choice is for number 1. Next up, we have March of the Oni. Yes, you're surprised that I put March of the Oni over stuff like Hunted or Sons of Garmadon or even Skybound. But why is March of the Oni so good to me? Very simple. Very good story. The story might have been short, but short stories can be good at times. I loved Cole's Fall, even if it sort of was undone at the end. At least it provided us with a shocking moment. Yeah, sure, there were some rushed elements to it, but every season has that, so I can't really blame March of the Oni for that. And yeah, the Oni were kind of underdeveloped, but that was more, I blame more of, the other 2 seasons. I blame more of Hunted for overhyping them than March of the Oni. Because all March of the Oni did was showcase what they are. Hunted's the one that really needs to blame for that. Now, this is also a shocker. For the second time on my top 5 video, 2 seasons are tied for number 1. And these 2 seasons, I really love. And I can't stop watching either of them. Let's start with one of them, Rise of the Snakes, the very first season. What a classic season. When you think of Ninjago, 9 times out of 10, this is what you think of. Classic moments. One of the biggest plot twists in the entire show. Zane is a robot. All the true potentials. We had the Great Devourer. We had Pythor. We had Garmadon. We had Bratty Lloyd. Yeah, Bratty Lloyd. Just fuck off. But this really did character balance perfectly. Other writers need to really watch season 1 and how to do characters perfectly. Sure, it was time where less ninja were on the team, but still, the character development was at least very good. It treated anyone practically equal, and it made it so that no one felt more important than the other. They all had their uses. And that's what made it such a great season. Great stories, great characters, great character balance, great everything. Only Bratty Lloyd brings it down. And then, the other one. Reboot it. Now, I bet all of you are typing in the comments like, oh, you only like this season because of Zane. That's a cherry on top. I really like this season because of the technology. A lot of people say that's a problem, but here's the thing. If the show is based off of Japanese and Chinese culture, wouldn't that be a good thing? Because Japanese and China, or at least Japan, as far as I know, is very technological. So I like that little nod to Japan. But actually, the only bad part of Rebooted for me was the stupid love triangle. It made no sense whatsoever, and it was basically bullshit. But everything else in it was pretty much perfect. Zane and Pixel, best ship of all time. We had stuff up in freaking space. Amazing and cool. Zane's death, well, sad. Still sad and shocking at the same time. And, oh my lord, I was just... I can't get enough of Rebooted. Those 2 seasons, Rise of the Snakes and Rebooted, will always be my favorite seasons of all time, considering they are tied for the first spot. But those are my rankings for the seasons. What are your guys' rankings of the seasons below? But anyways, I hope you guys liked this video. Give that thumbs up, subscribe to this channel by clicking on that red subscribe button, and click on that notification bell to see every video that I will upload. And I'll see all you folks in the next video. Bye bye!